Sensational Saturday. What's going on, Sixers Nation 76? It's your boy Hawk here on the day of the playoff opener between our Philadelphia 76ers and the Brooklyn Nets. Tip off about 5 hours away. I'm going to be in the building. Honestly, this is a series we should sweep. We should. We have the MVP, the former MVP. We had the talent. I was predicting 6-4 with a clean 4-0 sweep. But I don't know. I see a lot of y'all saying it's going to go 5 games. And, I can see the Nets possibly still in the game, especially with the revenge of Mikal Bridges. We still upset about that draft night bullshit trade. We traded him for a guy allergic to peanuts, who I don't even know if he's in the G League. He's probably a DoorDash driver or something now. But the hometown kid feels some type of way about that. So look for him to have a big series. Not saying he's going to lead his team to an upset or something, but I wouldn't be surprised if just off the strength of that they did manage to take a game. It wouldn't surprise me at all. But as long as we go out there and play our game, we shouldn't have no problems. Like I said, I'm between 6-4 and 5. I would like no better than the sweep so that we're ready for the next round, because more than likely it'll be against the Boston Celtics, unless the Atlanta Hawks knock them off, which would be nice, but not really banking on that. So we're going to need all the rest we can get. Let the Celtics and Bucks have to rule it out against the Hawks and the Heat in the first round. Meanwhile, our round should be over no later than April 24th. I'm still putting my money on the sweep, though. It's been, last time the Sixers swept a series was 1991, when they swept the Milwaukee Bucks in the first round 3-0. And the last time we swept a 4-game series was the 1985 Eastern Conference semifinals against the Milwaukee Bucks. So you're talking about 32 and 38 years between those two feats. Like I said, so a sweep is long overdue. And that's not no disrespect to this Nets team. Mikal Bridges is a good player. Plus the Nets have a lot of shooters. Former Sixer Seth Curry. You got Joe Harris. I haven't really watched too much of the Nets since they made that trade. Just their last couple of games against the Sixers. One of those being the season finale when all the reserves played. So I haven't really watched their new team play together since this roster was put together, a couple of months ago. So I know the Nets are going to come to play. Bridges is going to be out for payback. So, and I don't know who on our team is going to guard him. Sixer homers be like, get over it, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, it's not really the get over. What's done is done. Just be prepared for him to have a breakout series. I've been telling people that all week. Matter of fact, last couple weeks, once we all knew who our first round matchup was going to be. And here's a little interesting fact This will be the fourth playoff matchup between the Sixers and Nets franchises dating back to 1979. And each time we played the Nets in the playoffs, the Sixers were the 3rd seed and the Nets were the 6th seed. You know, I found that kind of interesting. So it all starts today, 1 p.m. You know, people are already looking ahead to the next round. But I said, well, I don't see this series being no more than 5 games. You know, you don't want to disrespect your opponent. You know, the teams that qualify for the postseason are all deserving of respect. I just feel like this is the Sixers' best chance at a championship in a long, long time. And we need to capitalize on that succession. This is an important playoff for Joel Embiid and James Harden, who's been labeled as a playoff choker. So that's why this postseason is so important. And how they handle the Nets in the first round is going to tell you what you need to know about this team. Because in the past, we've taken our first round opponents too lightly, like last year against Toronto. You know what I mean? I wanted to sweep last year, but last year I realistically knew we wasn't going to sweep that team. But we should have closed them out in 5 games. Because you see what happens when you let a team hang around and the series goes 6, 7 games. That last year against Toronto, that series shouldn't have went no 6 damn games. You know what I mean? And B wound up getting hurt by that unintentional elbow by Pascal Siakam. And I'm so glad Toronto got eliminated in a play-in tournament by the Chicago Bulls. You know, because the Raptors are a crappy fan base anyway. How you going to send DeMar DeRozan's little girl threats all because she was booing y'all clowns at the free throw line? You know what I mean? She's a fan of her dad and his team. You know what I mean? You kidding me? These are the same clowns that cheered on Joel Embiid when he got hurt and Kevin Durant during the 2019 finals when they won that bogus championship. Because everybody know they wasn't winning the chip with against a healthy Warriors team. Everybody know that. So y'all need to thank Kevin Durant and Klay Thompson's injury for that bogus championship. And cats will get in their feelings, whatever, yeah, we were still the champions, whatever, man, come on. If y'all was really worthy of being champions, y'all would have swept the hobbled Warriors. Fuck out of here. But anyway, you know, they played dirty. And after injuring Embiid last year purposely, which caused him to miss the first 2 games of the second round against the Miami Heat, you know what I mean? We can't make those mistakes or let the lesser teams hang around. And that's no disrespect to them as an opponent. That's just a testament to how good we are, and we need to play like it. You can't play around with these teams. That's why I was calling a Sixers sweep from the jump. You know what I mean? And initially when cats was saying, nah, the Sixers ain't going to sweep, I'll give them 5 games, I was thinking, damn, I ain't got no confidence in y'all squad. But when you look at past Sixer teams, they have a tendency to, you know what I mean, let their guard down against inferior opponents and fuck around and let them take a game or two. You know what I mean? Like Toronto last year. You know what I mean? If we should have closed them out in 5, we would have had a healthy Embiid, or healthier Embiid, because he still had the ligament shit going on in his hand. But he would have been good enough. He could have played out that entire Miami series, and who knows, we possibly win that series in 6 instead of losing in 6. So we're going to see. Like I said, he got Keith Pompey keep predicting the Sixers to drop the first game as they figure the Nets out. Like, come on, Keith. I know you're objective or whatever, but come on. Like I said, anything could happen. They could come in and win the first game, but nah. I think that building's going to be too loud. You know, people already know Mikal Bridges is going to be out for revenge. I expect the Sixers to come out and let the Nets know that they're the better team and they're not going to lie down. If the Nets do win a game, I would rather it be in Brooklyn on their home court. I would rather it be like that rather than them coming here and steal a home game. I mean, although it did happen in 2019, they came in and won the first game, but we finished them off in a gentleman's sweep, winning the next 4, including both 2 games in Brooklyn. So hopefully this year's not a repeat of that. Hopefully, like I said, we get our first sweep in 32 years and our first 4-game sweep in 38 years. Damn, I know most of the fan base wasn't even around to remember either of those feats. If they were too young to remember it. I mean, I remember it well, but it's still so long ago. And then the first round today, with it being a best of 7, it's not as easy getting a sweep as it was back when the first round was the best of 5. If the first round was still the best of 5, I'd be like, oh, the Sixers sweeping them 3-zip. You know. But it's like having to win 4 games now. It's like it gives the inferior team more chances to steal a game. You know. So we're going to see, this is the most important playoff run in a long, long time. You know, and it's actually like a good feeling here too. It's like, I feel real good about this team this time of year. Yeah, there's still the issue of not having been out the second round since reaching the finals in 2001, but that has to change, and this year will be the year for that to change. Definitely. You know, everybody's a lot of folks are scared of Boston. I know they're hoping that Atlanta pulls off some type of upset. I mean, it would be nice, but I'm not ducking none of these teams. It is what it is. You play who's in front of you. And like I always say, you have to beat the best to be the best. So how sensational would that be to beat Boston and Milwaukee to win the Eastern Conference and get back to the NBA Finals? You know what I mean? Versus, say, beating the Nets, then beating Atlanta. Even though we owe the Hawks a thrashing anyway for 2021, but I'm not even going to get into that fiasco. I'm just going to take it one step at a time and focus on the first round. Because you already have people looking ahead to the second round of Boston. I'm like, chill, neither team has even played their first quarterfinals game yet. And like I said, you're disrespecting the Nets and the Hawks by even talking about the next round. Sure, both the Sixers and the Celtics are heavily favored to advance and square off in the Eastern Conference semifinals. But let's focus on the Brooklyn Nets first. You know, because they have a chip on their shoulder. They already know they're the underdog. Bridges is going to be out to remind the Sixers of, you know what I mean, the mistake they made by trading him on draft night. So, I would be surprised if he didn't have a breakout series, a series that makes him a household name and puts him on the map. Like, I would be real surprised if that didn't happen. You know what I mean? I'm a fan of the kid. You know what I mean? He's from Philly, went to Villanova. So, you know, when he was with Phoenix, I was able to catch a lot of their games. I haven't watched many of his games since he's been traded to the Nets. And then I was there when he made his debut when the Sixers played in Brooklyn back on February 11th. I was at the Barclays, and that was a good win by our Sixers. You know, and I said then, if we play these guys in the playoffs, you know what I mean, kid's going to be a problem. Because, you know what I mean, who on the team can guard him? He's playing shooting guard for the Nets. You know what I mean? Harden and Maxey, about picking are too small to guard him. You know what I mean? You want to put Tobias on him? I don't know. We shall see. You know what I mean? This is also is going to be a big playoff for Doc Rivers. You know, a lot of Sixers Nation 76 doesn't like him and can't wait for him to be out of here or whatever, but I'm like, this is his third season here. You know, last year went out in the second round, but that was due to the Embiid injury. Year before, he choked against Atlanta, but that was because of that former guy that we traded for James Harden. You know, but this year, I expect Doc Rivers to coach his ass off. You know, I'm going to give the fellow Libra scale some credit. You know what I mean? He was okay during the season. Shout out to Doc winning Coach of the Month. And come on, Doc. It's time for you to prove that you're a championship coach and coach this team to a title. Although it doesn't all fall on the coaching, it has to translate to the players on the court. But this is a very important playoff run, and it all starts this afternoon at 1 o'clock down in South Philly at the Wells Fargo Center. You know, I know we're all pumped and can't wait. But, you know, it's like at this point, the first round is a formality. It's like you expect the team to win the first round without any real static. Like I said, I'm still predicting a sweep. That is send a message to the rest of the league that the Sixers ain't playing around. And people might be like, oh, it was just the Nets, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, but it's still a start. You know what I mean? Versus going 5 and 6 games with that team and letting them get a couple of wins. You know, but this team could actually gel this next team and be better than we're all expecting. Because after they traded KD and Kyrie Irving, nobody had the Nets even making the playoffs. Everybody expected them to fall off and at best be a play-in team. But they stayed in that top 6 and just avoided the play-in. So you got to give them some credit. Like I said, Philly fans have a habit of getting too ahead of themselves and disrespecting the opponent. But to me, I'm not disrespecting them. I'm just bigging up our Sixers. You know, this is the best regular season we've had, win-wise, since reaching the championship in 2001. You know, 54 wins falls just a win short of my preseason expectations. I had the team winning between 55 and 60 games, but they fell just short of that. So for the regular season, I give the team a B, a B+. For the postseason, I'm hoping it ends with an A+. That'll mean championship. For me, it's championship or bust with this team. You know what I mean? Because you think about it, out of all the Eastern Conference teams in the playoffs, the Bucks have won a championship. The Celtics just were there last year. The Heat were in the finals in 2020, although it was the bubble, but they were still in the finals. The Raptors won their little dinosaur championship against the Hobble Warriors. So it's time for the Sixers to have some real postseason success. You know what I mean? And just getting to the second round is no longer an accomplishment. Getting to the second round was an accomplishment in 2018 when we were back in the playoffs after 6 years. And it was an accomplishment back in 2012 when we beat the injured Bulls team to get there after not advancing past the first round since 2003 at that point. Those were accomplishments reaching the second round now. Not now. It's like at this point, getting out the first round is a formality. You expect that. Now, you know what I mean? Anything short of reaching the Eastern Conference Finals is a failure of a season. But I'm still calling championship a buzz. I still have the Sixers in 4. I'm going to stick to that. And hopefully by 3:30 this afternoon, the Sixers will be 1-0 and just 3 wins away from, again, advancing to the second round. But anyway, this was a little sensational Saturday Hoops Talking Squawk with your boy Hawk. And maybe I'll go live at the game later. But anyway, Hawk out.